Hi, welcome back. So today we are going to look at no we, no way. You know the saying, where there is a will, there is a way. Let's ignore the original context for a moment, shall we? So in the context of a will as a document, we are going to look at it in the context of a will as a document. It also creates a way by which a person's belongings are distributed and managed after his or her demise. But have you wondered what happens when a person dies without a will? What happens to his or her property? To simply put, the court will appoint a person known as an administrator to manage the estate and administer the belongings of the deceased to his or her survivors. The administrators will be required by the court to do the following: to collect and manage the deceased assets, to settle outstanding debts and liabilities if he was owing any debts and liabilities before he passed on. The administrator will be the one to settle it, then distribute the remaining assets to the beneficiaries, those dependent upon him. The administrators will also distribute the remaining assets. For example, let's paint a picture. For example, if Mr. Z dies intestate, when we say intestate, it means dying without a will. The person did not make any will. If the person dies intestate, if Mr. Z dies intestate, leaving cars, houses behind, and other properties, as well as few debts, a letter of administration empowers his spouse or close relative to access these estates, pay off the debts, and share the remainder fairly among his survivors. This process is just one branch of the figurative tree known as administration of estates. What is administration of estate? Administration of estate refers to a legal process whereby the personal representative of a deceased person manages and distributes the assets of the deceased person to the deceased beneficiaries. Essentially, it is the process of managing the property of a dead person, be it woman or man. There are two ways that administration of estates can occur. The first is when a person dies with a will. In this instance, another person known as an executor, there's an executor of that will. That executor is appointed in the will to carry out the deceased wishes as stated in the will. While on the other hand, when a person dies without a will, that is, the person dies intestate, his or her estate will be vested in the chief judge of the state. The chief judge of the state where he or she last resided during his or her lifetime. It does not necessarily mean the chief judge of his state. The chief judge of the state where he resided, where she resided last during his or her lifetime. For anyone else to have control over the estate of the deceased, he or she must be appointed as an administrator of the deceased estate by the court. This appointment is done through a document known as letter of administration obtained from the probate registry of the High Court of the state where the deceased resided during his or her lifetime. Letters of administration confer authority on a person to deal with the estate of the deceased person on behalf of the beneficiary, and not for his personal gain or benefit. The letter can only be applied for after 14 days from the death of the deceased. Administration of estate law in Nigeria, or administration of estate in Nigeria per se, is regulated by the administration of estate laws of the various states and the High Court civil procedural rules of each state of the federation. Every state have their high court civil procedural rules. Every state have their administration of estate law. Who can be an administrator, or who can be appointed as an administrator? The administration of estate law of Lagos State under section 49 sub 1 provides for categories of persons who can apply for letters of administration. The section lists these persons in the order of priority in which the court would grant the letter of administration, and they are the surviving spouse or spouses of the deceased if he has more than one wife. Secondly, the children of the deceased or the children of the deceased children who died before the deceased. Parents of the deceased, the parents comes third. Brothers or sisters of the deceased of full blood or the children of such brothers or sisters who died in the lifetime of the deceased. Then the fifth one is brother or sister of the disease of half blood. Full blood comes first. Half blood, like maybe step sibling, adopted sibling, or the children of such brother or sister who died in the lifetime of the disease. Then the sixth people or the sixth persons are the grandparents of the deceased. The seventh person, the uncles and aunts of full blood or their children, uncles and aunts of half blood, creditors of the disease, the people it's owing, then administrator general. This is the administrator general, it's a government appointed official that manages a disease estate when there is no one available, no next of kin to do so, no family member to do so. The administrator general will take over, or when the estate is exposed to danger of misappropriation, waste or deterioration, where it is ideal for more than one administrator to be appointed. In the event that one dies or is rendered incapable of performing his or her functions, and also to avoid arbitrary control of the deceased estate by a single person. So it's advisable they appoint more than one administrator. How is an administrator appointed? A person can only apply for a letter of administration either directly by himself or herself or through a solicitor.